Alicia, how we doing?
I just want to get, kind of your advice on how does one approach marriage after growing up with divorced parents?
That's an interesting question. So where's that question stemming from? Are you about to get married?
I'm in a serious relationship, just about 2.5 years, and we're, me and my current boyfriend, in very serious talks, within next year and engagement and kind of, preparing for that next step. But so before that next step, I have a little hesitation, not from not believing in marriage, but definitely weighs in the back of my mind having divorced parents and going through that. It's one of those things I feel like I could do everything right to prepare, but you can't predict the future still.
Right. So let's answer this big question. Number one, by the way, you may have heard me laugh. You said we're in very serious talks, and that's like contract negotiation language that I read like on ESPN.com. So the way you said that was awesome. Like he put an offer on the table and you're thinking, I don't know about that. I'll take this offer. So that just made me laugh. So this is a serious conversation. How were you hurt by your parents' divorce?
Mainly, I was 15, so, prime age freshman in high school and an only child.
Oh, man.
Was very close to both of them and still very close to my parents. So that was having to, split time. It was just really, really difficult. My parents did almost everything right after, separating in terms of they never spoke ill of each other in front of me. They put me first 100%. They co-parented. I mean, they really did an excellent job after that. But you just can't take away some of that, pain and hurt that it came with. And
Right.
Still today, having just to deal with it, small things like, 2 houses for Thanksgiving or Christmas, and it still exists today, even though we're 10 years in the future and just a really great place now.
So why in the world would you even want to get married? Who's this guy you're marrying? What's his name?
His name is Matthew.
Why in the world would you even be considering Matthew? You've seen it go south. You see what happens. And you saw it happen with people who handle it well. Really well.
Yeah.
Why in the world would you marry Matthew?
Well, I still believe in marriage and, really having a partner, in life. And
Why? Why? Why do you believe in that? Why do you believe in that?
I think mainly because I saw it for a lot of years. My parents, for the most part, had a very healthy marriage. They were a team. They were young when they had me. And they just fought hard and they worked really hard and just put me first. And I had a really good childhood, a very loving home. And things still didn't work out. So there is a part of me, but now so even before meeting Matthew, I still had, that hope there to get married. But then after meeting Matthew and seeing, he's just a great person and just the best partner. He's just like the best teammate, and just very, very good.
So I want to change some of your language, okay? I loved you listening to you talk about your parents, right? They loved each other. They fought for it. They went for it. And then you tossed in something that was a throwaway line, but it is really heavy and it's really existential. And I want you to never forget what I'm about to tell you, okay?
Okay.
The phrase, "it just didn't work out," is not real when it comes to relationships.
Oh, 100%.
Somebody, whether it was one or both, made a decision to no longer continue rebuilding, to continue investing, and they pulled their chips off the table and said, "I'm out." Right?
100%. Yep.
And so when you get married, we live in a culture, right? You know the stats as well as I do. Every friend you have probably has parents who are divorced. Every friend I've got, not everyone, a number of them have parents who are divorced. And even some of those who are still married are just roommates, right? We see those. You and I both experience that. And so the reason I was asking you, why even do this? Why go down this road? And you answer a question, right? Because having a partner's worth it. And finding somebody and saying, "I'm all in, and I'm going to continue to be all in, even as the game changes, as the tables change, as the number of chips we both have to play changes, as we continue down this wild adventure." It's all going to continue to shift and change. And this phrase, "it just didn't work out," is a decision. It's not it just, for some it does and for some it doesn't, right? And so if you decide to get married to this guy, and you're in very serious negotiations right now, right? Right? You're very serious talks. I want you to both agree right now that divorce is never on the table. It is not an option. It can't be an option. It won't be an option. And we're never going to even have it here to discuss and talk through. And so once an option is off the table, then it's not an outcome. Then you have to do the other side of that equation, which is, let's build a marriage where we always plan things together, where we always commit to being radically honest with one another, but not idiotic honest, and there's a difference. Where we budget together and we dream together and we talk about when those dreams change, and we express fears and we are vulnerable with one another, and we talk about past hurts with one another. All these things that somehow stop over the course of a relationship. And commit to that front end, and commit to never having divorce as an option. And then your relationship is going to be as strong as you invest in the architecture and the continued re-engineering of this thing. And so I'm going to give you the magic word here. If you don't want to get divorced, choose not to. Marry somebody that chooses not to. And can I give you one more uncomfortable moment?
Yes.
All relationship, 100% of it, is a risk. And it's a risk on the front end. And it's a risk all the way through it. And if you knew the outcome, if you knew how it ends, it wouldn't be a relationship. Right? It would be a business arrangement. And so know going in that there is no guarantee on the back end. That's what makes it so exciting and so scary and so beautiful, right? It's a choice. And so as you hear me say that, it sounds trite and silly, right?
Yes and no.
Talk to me about it.
Well, no, it doesn't sound silly. Just I very much am a person who likes control and would, like everything to work out. But because I made every right decision I possibly could, so I think since now up until now, I haven't really looked beyond 5 years in the future, whether it was high school or college, and early in my career. So now the thought, looking, okay, let's dream 10, 20, 30 years in the future. It's like, whoa, that feels like out of my reach that I have control over. Mm-hmm. It is just scary. And that's basically it. And
that is that's the rest of your life. That's what's so cool about this. That never goes away. The moment it stops being scary is the moment that people start looking over their shoulder, right? Mm-hmm. The moment that people get comfortable and they lean back and they're like, that's all right, is the moment they stop investing in new architecture. They stop trying to build a stronger foundation. They stop trying to do the repair work on this relationship. And then the whole thing, they find it in ash. Right? So it is risky. It is exhausting. It is forever. And whatever you think you're planning for 20 years from now, I promise it will be different. I work on the radio now. I have Instagram, for God's sake. I had one promise on earth, is that I would never have Instagram. That was stupid, right? So whatever my plan was, I wish I could go back and tell you what my plans were when me and my wife were dating. It probably involved, I don't even want to get into it. It's not what my life is now, and my life is 1,000 times better than I could have pictured it. And for whatever it's worth, there have been multiple, 2 or 3 or 4 times over the 20 plus years I've been dating and have been married to my wife, when we reached an apex and said, this could be it. And we chose not to. We chose not to, quote unquote, just say, let's call it. It didn't work out. We didn't take our chips off the table. We may have got up and walked away from the table for a minute and walked around and then sat back down and said, these are the cards I've got. What cards do you have? Let's lay it all out on the table and let's rebuild again. And let's rebuild again and let's keep rebuilding again. Alicia, I love that you're asking these questions. I love that you are a person who loves control. And I want you to know, you are putting that on the table when you go all in on somebody else. And if you're listening to this and you don't hear anything else, I'm high on marriage. I still think it's one of the most important cultural touchstones of our time. And I don't believe in things just run their course. And I don't believe in things just didn't work out. I believe that people change, and I believe people grow, and I believe people change and grow together. And I also believe people at some point just cash in and say, I'm out. I'm done. I can't be here with you because you won't do X. And I can't be there with Y because she won't do X, Y, and Z. And it's a risk. It's a risk. It's all in. It's a risk. But Alicia, I said go for it.